Callista went to bed late and woke up late as well. As she stepped out of the bedroom, Luther came through the door while holding a bag in his hands. "Honey, I bought your favorite honey garlic prawns," he announced while presenting the package as if it were a treasure. "I rushed back to keep them warm for you. Eat them while they're hot." In the past, whenever Luther upset her, he would buy honey garlic prawns to cheer her up. Callista never particularly liked them, but she always forgave him. Not because of the prawns but because she loved him. What was this gesture for today? Was it to ease his guilt after spending the whole night with another woman? "Honey, did you see the message I sent before I went out? When did you wake up?" For some reason, Luther felt a vague unease over Callista's recent demeanor. "No, I just woke up," Callista replied as she picked up her fork. She wouldn't let herself go hungry because of him. When he saw her calm expression that seemed to have no trace of anger, Luther finally relaxed. "I'll take care of some work first. When you're done eating, I'll join you for a walk." Callista continued eating while opening her phone. Ren had just posted a new update. "He spoils me so much." I casually mentioned wanting honey garlic prawns, and he immediately went out to get them for me. Attached to the post was a photo of a bag of the honey garlic prawns, the same ones Callista was eating out of. Meanwhile, Luther let out a soft laugh across the table. Seconds later, a new comment appeared under Ren's post. Luther replied, "It's good that you're self-aware." Not long after, Jane chimed in with her own comment. "Of course he should spoil you. Just tell us whatever you want. You're a hero, not like someone else who takes up space but can't even conceive." Jane's comment was visible to Luther as well. Callista glanced up. She was curious to see his reaction. He didn't seem bothered at all. In fact, he was wearing a smile. His expression was filled with warmth and contentment. Callista chuckled to herself. She pulled up Jane's profile and blocked her on all platforms in one swift move. She had been wanting to do that for a long time. Before Callista could finish breakfast, Luther's phone rang. It was Jane. Her sharp voice practically burst through the speaker, and Luther frowned as he looked at Callista. "Mom said she wants to bring you some herbal medicine. Did you block her?" "There's no need. I'm not drinking it." Jane had a habit of sending her strange, bitter herbal remedies, none of which were helpful. Callista had forced herself to choke them down over the years, only to endure Jane's passive-aggressive remarks about wasting her kindness. But you can't just. Even if Jane couldn't send her messages anymore, the old ones were still there. Callista slid her phone across the table toward Luther. The most recent message from Jane read, "A woman who can't have children is worthless. You couldn't even keep the one you managed to conceive. You're such a failure. I won't allow the Spencer family lineage to end with you." Callista had been pregnant once in their first year of marriage. But the baby's heartbeat suddenly stopped at 7 months, and she was forced to undergo an induced labor. Jane had made countless remarks blaming her over the years. Callista, however, knew Luther had always tried to mediate and spoke up for her in front of his mother. Not wanting to make things harder for him, she had never brought it up. But this time, Luther frowned at Callista. "She's still my mom. You should try to understand her a little," he said. "And who's supposed to understand me?" Callista retorted with a cold laugh. "Luther, you know how devastated I was back then. But have you ever considered that there might have been a reason for the miscarriage?" Luther sighed. "Maybe you ate something you shouldn't have, or perhaps you used the wrong cosmetics." Tears spilled down Callista's face instantly. "Don't cry," Luther said. He realized that he had said the wrong thing. "I'm sorry. That's not what I meant." During her first pregnancy, Callista had been more careful than anyone else. She hadn't worn makeup even once, avoided eating out entirely, and refused to travel anywhere far. When she lost the baby, her entire world collapsed. Luther stayed by her side every moment, never leaving her alone, and took care of her 24/7. He had reassured her over and over. "Honey, it's not your fault. Even if we never have children, it doesn't matter. You're all I care about." Luther was there for an entire month. He had pulled her back out of the abyss. But now she finally understood. He also believed it was her fault the baby didn't survive. "I'm sorry. You can hit me or yell at me. Just don't cry," Luther pleaded as he pulled Callista into his arms. I was spouting nonsense. I deserve whatever punishment you give me. Callista couldn't free herself from his embrace, and her tears continued to fall. But deep down she knew the truth. Luther hadn't simply misspoken. He was trying to shift all the blame onto her, to justify his infidelity as something inevitable. Luther grew increasingly remorseful as he said, "I'll make everything clear to my mom. You can consider unblocking her once she learns to respect you, okay?" Tears streamed down Callista's face, but she smiled bitterly. Little did he know there was no future for them anymore. For the next 2 days, Luther stayed home to keep her company. Even though Callista barely acknowledged him, he busied himself with cooking all her favorite dishes. Meanwhile, Ren's social media was filled with updates. Baby supplies Luther ordered for Ren had arrived. He had booked a top-tier postpartum care center for her. There were even specially prepared meals for expectant mothers, delivered personally by Luther. And he had left a like under every post. That evening, as Luther brought her water for a foot soak, his phone rang. "It's your brother," he said, putting it on speaker. "He said he just landed a big client and is celebrating. He wants us to join." Kai's voice came through the line. "Hey Callie, it's been ages since I've seen you. Come with Luther, okay?" With only 2 days left before she planned to leave, Callista didn't know when she might see her brother again. Hence she couldn't refuse him. Okay. Kai had arranged a small barbecue gathering in the Caldwell residence's backyard. When Callista and Luther arrived, Kai greeted them warmly. "Callie, I know you don't like the smell of smoke, so I had them put all the cigarettes away. Pretty thoughtful of me, right?" Before Callista could reply, someone nearby exposed him. Liar. It was Luther who reminded everyone to put the cigarettes away. "Luther truly treats Callista like a queen," another teased. "He has to. Otherwise, why would I accept him as my brother-in-law?" Loghead. Luther rolled up his sleeves and started grilling Callista's favorite meat. "My wife deserves everything good in life," he declared. "Honey, sit here. Don't let the smoke bother you. Tell me what you want to eat, and I'll grill it for you." Callista stayed silent as she was not in the mood to play along. Suddenly Kai spoke up. "Luther, we're out of drinks. Come help me grab a few cases from the basement." Luther patted Callista's head gently. "Wait here, I'll be right back." As soon as they left, Callista's phone buzzed with a location pin from Ren. She was at the Caldwell residence too. Callista's heart clenched. Fearing Kai might act impulsively, she got up and followed them. But the tense confrontation she had imagined didn't happen. Instead, she saw the three of them standing together, chatting and laughing. Ren looped her finger around Luther's and her tone was playful as she said, "Your son's been kicking me a lot. He must miss his dad. Luther, I'll leave you two to it. I'll grab the drinks myself." Kai grinned mischievously, and he walked off to give them space. As soon as he walked away, Luther pulled Ren into his arms. "So, only my son misses me? You already know the answer to that," Ren teased. Luther chuckled, kissing her as they headed into a room. Callista's childhood bedroom. Callista's blood ran cold, and her legs nearly gave out beneath her. She thought back to when her parents passed away in an accident. She had only been 13, and she had begun juggling school and multiple jobs to support Kai. For her brother, she had taken on every dirty, exhausting task imaginable. Kai had cried so hard as he walked her down the aisle on her wedding day. He was barely able to speak through his sobs. "If Luther ever bullies you, come home, Callie. Your room will always be here for you." But now the two people she loved most had joined forces to deliver the cruelest blow. When she came to her senses, she was already back in the yard. Kai had just returned with the drinks and their eyes met. Callista forced a faint smile. "Where's Luther?" "Luther went to warm some milk for you. He said you can't drink anything cold. Honestly, where else would you find a husband this good?" Kai said. "I'm not done moving the drinks yet. I'll go check on him," he added casually. Callista's eyes turned red as her nails dug into her palms. How many lies had he told her over the years to get to the point where he could lie so effortlessly? She couldn't bear to stay another moment. "I'm tired. I'm heading home," she said flatly. "Should I ask Luther to take you?" Kai asked. He was a bit uncertain. Callista stared at him for a long moment. "There's no need. I wouldn't want to ruin his fun. Kai seemed uneasy under her gaze. Then, I'll call you a car. Before getting in, Callista turned back to look at the brother she had raised herself. Kai's eyes darted away. What is it, Callie? Callista turned and shut the car door without answering. When she got home, Luther's call came almost immediately. Why didn't you let me take you home? It's so late. I got so worried about you being alone. At the same time, a message from Ren lit up her phone. Was your first time on this bed too? He said you're too conservative. You always use the same moves. It's no wonder he's been so pent up after 2 days with you. He nearly broke me apart tonight. Callista thought back to their wedding night. Luther had sensed her nerves immediately. Instead of staying in their bridal suite, he brought her back to the Caldwell residence, to her familiar childhood room. That first time, Luther was as restrained as he could be. He was careful with every movement as he put her comfort above all else. He had been gentle and tender. When she cried, he cried with her. Callie, I love you. I'll make sure you never regret marrying me, he had promised. But now she regretted it completely. Luther called her name again on the phone, testing the silence. At that moment, Callista pressed her hand tightly over her mouth. She was unable to speak through her sobs. Is the signal bad? Don't worry, Luther. I booked the car, and the app shows my sister got home safely, Kai's voice cut in. Go back to Ren. I'll text my sister in a bit and let her know, he added casually. Be careful not to let anything slip, Luther warned. Kai chuckled. My sister would never suspect me. Besides, she can't have kids, so what's wrong with someone else having one? Kai. Luther snapped. Don't talk about your sister like that. All right. I won't say it again. The call ended, and Kai's promised message soon followed. Luther rarely gets a chance to relax. He promised to have a few more drinks with me, so I'll have him stay the night at our place. Don't worry, Callie. I've got him covered. Then, she received a message from Luther. Honey, if you're tired, go to bed early. Kai got his first big client today. I'm celebrating with him for both of us. Don't wait up for me. Callista didn't reply to either message. In that moment, the storm of emotions in her chest suddenly settled into stillness, and Callista wiped her tears away. She wasn't going to wait anymore. People who weren't worth it didn't deserve her patience. That included Luther and Kai. She got up, went to her room, and left all the heartbreak behind for a peaceful night's sleep. On the morning of their wedding anniversary, Luther prepared her a special breakfast with heart-shaped decorations. Honey, tonight you'll finally see the fireworks I've been planning for you, he said with a warm smile. Callista smiled faintly, but didn't say a word. I'm heading to the office now. Tonight, we'll watch them together, he said as he stood up. Just as he was about to leave, Callista opened the drawer. She pulled out the divorce papers she had prepared and slid them across the table. Sign them, she said calmly. The divorce papers were already flipped to the last page. Luther took them and signed without hesitation. Aren't you going to read the contents? Callista asked. Isn't it just about adjusting the IVF plan? Honey, whatever you think is best, I'll go along with it, he said. Callista watched him leave and couldn't help but let out a bitter, mocking laugh. He was still claiming to do everything for her, even now. She picked up the medicine that had been sitting on the coffee table for 6 days and swallowed it. Her throat tightened with emotion as she gently placed a hand on her stomach. I'm sorry, my darling. She had given Luther so many chances, and he had failed to grasp even one. After packing her bags, Callista went to the hospital alone. You're 4 weeks pregnant. The baby's heartbeat is strong, and development is normal. Are you sure you don't want to keep it? The doctor, Eve Lowell, asked. No, Callista replied after a long pause. It's such a shame. You went through so much after losing the last baby due to the wrong herbal medicine. You endured so much pain to conceive again, and now you're giving up. It will be even harder to have children in the future, Eve said with a sigh. Callista froze and her head snapped up. Her voice was hoarse as she forced the words out. The last miscarriage was because of herbal medicine. Eve frowned. Yes, didn't Mr. Spencer ever tell you? So he had known all along. A buzzing sound filled Callista's ears. During her first pregnancy, Jane had sent herbal tonics every week, claiming they were for a healthy pregnancy. The bitter concoctions were so hard to swallow that Luther had coaxed her through each dose, one spoonful at a time. When the miscarriage happened, her body was so damaged that IVF became the only option. She had always thought the miscarriage was an unfortunate accident. For 5 years, through 6 rounds of IVF and 5 failed attempts, Luther had watched her torment herself with guilt and self-blame. He had told her it wasn't her fault. But not once had he told her the truth, that the fault wasn't hers. "Miss Caldwell, are you all right?" Eve asked while handing her a tissue, and Callista realized her face was streaked with tears. "If you're feeling unwell, perhaps take some time to think it over." "No need," Callista said firmly while wiping her tears away. "I'll proceed with it." Before the anesthesia took full effect, Callista mumbled to Eve in a daze, "Will the baby feel pain?" Eve was stunned by the question, and she remained silent. After that, Callista drifted into unconsciousness. When she woke, hours had passed. She got out of bed and walked toward the exit after regaining some strength. As she passed the obstetrics department, she froze. Luther was walking out of a consultation room with Ren not far away. "Can you feel it? The baby's saying hello to you. Thank you for protecting both of us," Ren said while placing Luther's hand on her belly. Her eyes were red with emotion. "Luther, I was so scared earlier when my stomach started hurting," she said softly. "Don't be silly," Luther said as he kissed her forehead. "I won't let anything happen to you or the baby." Ren leaned into his arms. Then, as her gaze met Callista's, she showed her a smug, triumphant smile. Raising her voice deliberately, Ren added, "So will you stay with me tonight?" Luther hesitated for a moment before Ren continued. "You can watch fireworks with her any other night, but our baby is about to be born. What if I feel pain again tonight?" "Luther, I'm really scared." After a long silence, Luther sighed. "All right. I knew you cared about me the most," Ren said. Callista stood frozen. Her gaze was icy as she watched their backs disappear down the hall. The city had buzzed with anticipation for 22 whole days, waiting for the grand fireworks display Luther had planned for her that evening at 7 p.m. Luther knew this, but he still chose to leave her alone. Callista took out her phone and sent Luther one final message. "The surprise I prepared for you is ready." Then, she booked a car and headed straight to the airport. Before boarding, she turned off her phone and handed it to a courier. She instructed them to send it to the Spencer residence's address. Blue fireworks lit up the sky at 7 p.m. sharp. They were brilliant and dazzling as they illuminated half the city. Cheers erupted across the crowd. Meanwhile, Callista was dragging her suitcase, and she boarded her flight without looking back.